So in this video, we're going to look at how to change the design aspects of the site that you created when you went to set up your membership site. If you want to have a look at that video, that should be up here or up there, one of the two places, and I'll also put them in the description below so that you can see them quite easily. So let's go and have a look at how to design your site the way you want it. From your Thrive menu, these are all the other aspects of Thrive, but we're going into a Thrive Apprentice here because it's Thrive Apprentice 4.0 that we're using for the course creation process here. And once you've set up your site and you click on Thrive Apprentice, this is what you're faced with if you have no courses or no anything. And this is a blank slate that I'm working with here. So I'm actually designing the site and the courses and everything as we go, and you can just simply follow along step by step should you desire. So you can go and create a course here. You can have products created here, which we'll talk about in other videos. There's some general settings for emails and APIs. You've got a help corner for obviously help. If you have existing customers from a other website or membership site that you have, you can bring them in here. But what we're going to do is we're just going to customize the skin, the templates, the brand color, and the general typography. So we'll go on, we can either click on here or over here on the left hand menu, as you can see. So we'll go into design here, and you can see that the setup I created when I went into the setup system, I said let's just call this course design. That name can be anything you want, and if you want to change it, I believe you can change it just here in the rename. So your course might be, Fred's course or Mary's course or whatever the case may be. So that's just for your overall design. It doesn't really show anywhere that you don't want it to. So what we can do is we can say edit design, and we can either go through the start wizard again, which we did in the setup video, or we can look at the manage templates area that that are created from the setup design. First of all though, I'm going to go into this section here, the typography. So I just simply click on edit, and what we're doing here is we're setting up the basic font structure and style of your overall course look and feel from the font perspective. So as you can see here, there's all the main header fonts and their currently set styles. You have your paragraph text. If you happen to create a list, here's the list text, what you want to do with hyperlinks, what you want to do with block quotes, and then this is a plain text section and a pre-formatted text section. So what we'll do is we'll go in and we'll first have a look at heading 1. So when we click on it, we see it's currently set as Literata, and this is the color, this is its existing size, its line height, and any letter spacing that might be in there, plus any spacing that you want to automatically place under the title every time you add a title. So I suggest you just leave this area alone unless you've got any specific requirements. What we'll do is we'll decide to, you've got a choice of Google fonts, web safe fonts, which will show up in the normal standard sort of fonts you see pretty much everywhere. And then you can say inherit, and that means inherit the fonts that you've got set up effectively in this spot here. But because we're doing the actual overview of the course structure, whatever we create here is the inherit font. So if we were actually in another part of the site and we wanted to change a heading 1 title and we said inherit, it's going to inherit whatever we set here. So this is not applicable just right now. So what we'll do is let's just change the Google font to Montserrat. There we go, nice and bold. And we'll change the, so that, what have they got, mullish, back to Literata on the H5, and polish again on the last one. So let's stick with the same examples, and we'll just change this one to Montserrat. Now again, you can come back and do this at another time once you've already set it up, and we'll just say apply to that. I generally like to leave the paragraph text alone. It's usually set up as a relation to the type of fonts that are in the headers. Same with the list item, but I do like to make sure that my hyperlink is bolded. I like bolded hyperlinks, and I might even just change that color to be a little bit darker. So when I click on the colors, you'll see here that there's a whole range of colors that are linked to the theme color that we chose in the setup, and I chose blue as the setup to the color. But I can change that if I want. I can either use the range of blues and other colors that are already set up for the theme. I could look at these theme colors are actually coming off from my website, so that's different. Or there's a few colors I've got saved here that I use as not global colors, but just favorites for various different things. So I like a bit of a darker blue for my hyperlinks, and we'll just try what the dark accent looks like. Still not really that blue. So what I might do is I might actually unlink the color, and I'll choose a nice dark, rich dark color. Let's go with, say, that. That's a little bit better. And what I can do now is with this color, I can say, look, let's save this color, and we can either make it a global, so it's right across the board, or we'll just make it a favorite. I'll make it a favorite so I don't have to keep unlinking or linking each time. It's actually named denim, and we'll apply that. It's bolded. Yep, I like that a little bit better. I'll leave the block quotes, and you can play with this as much as you like. Okay, so once we've done that, we click on Save Work so that our work is saved. And now, whenever I add a heading 1 item right across the site, it's going to be in Montserrat. I don't have to keep going and changing it on each page or each section. It'll do it automatically. So we can close that part of the design now. Yep, typography. Close that in there. We'll go back to the managing the templates section, and we'll now look at all the templates that are actually related to this theme when we set it up in the setup section. So first of all, you've got, as it says here, a default lesson, and again, even though we've set these up as templates here, if we don't like that particular template, if we've decided to change our mind, we can change that when we go into the template. So I'll show you that when we're in there. This is the default school homepage. This is if we happen to have restricted courses or restricted site content. There's a different type of page. I didn't set those up, or did I? Can't even remember. Sorry about that. Default video lessons, a default audio lesson, a normal default module. So every time I create a new module, this is how it's going to look, and a default course overview. So let's go to the home page to start with. Alrighty, so this was our main course page, and as you can see, because we have no courses in here as yet, this is fairly blank. We have a header, name of courses, which is, as I said, that was the name of the page, or that's what I created as my main course page. I just called it courses, and then we have a footer. So you'll notice that on the left hand side, and this applies right across the board for all Thrive work, so makes it really nice and easy to go from one module style of thing, or if you're building a website or whatever, it all looks the same and feels the same. So once you get to know one aspect of the system, you know it right across the board. So it's very, very quick learning curve. So at the top we have a header, that's here. We have a top, that's here. We have the content, that's here. And as you notice, as we scroll across each part, it highlights. So it highlights the top, highlights the content. There's a bottom section, and you can see this one's actually turned off. So the little eye there is red, it's turned off. And a footer. So if I turn on the bottom section here, for example, and come down,
You see now that there's a new bottom section. You can't see it because I haven't got anything in it at the moment. Hang on, it didn't even turn on. Yes, it did. Turned off. There it is. See the bottom section? I haven't got anything in there at the moment, so I can put anything, call to action, I can put a form, I can put whatever I want. But I'll just keep that turned off because that was part of the default template. There's a visibility button, so as I turn that on, it came on again. I can turn it off again, turns it off again, so you've got two ways to turn that on. This area here is not applying to anything just yet. We have decorations that we can apply. This is a decoration here, this curve. Again, we can come in and we can change the typography of this as we desire. Layouts and positions, we'll play with that later. There's background styles, borders and corners, shadows, response. You'll see these over and over again as we go through, so I won't spend too much time on them here. What I will do, however, is let's just go and play with this top section for a minute. So when I click into the section, you see that some elements become available over here. And in this case, you know, it's saying that the height of this section here is 400. So, you know, I might like that a little bit wider. I'll just make it 450 and just make that a little bit wider. Stretch the background to the full width. I can turn that off and make it go only across there. I personally always like the headers to be full width. Content width, which is this width in here, that's 1170. So we've got a full width screen and an 1170 content. So it gives a nice little streamlined look. Coming back into the top section. Whenever you're in a section, irrespective of where you are, these elements here will change, and the settings inside them will change depending on which section you're in. So if I click on the decorations here, for example, you'll notice before there was no decoration added, but now this one's saying it's got a fancy divider on the bottom and it's rounded. And this is the current height of the round. So I'll remember that 127 because I kind of like that lean look. But if I start moving that around, you'll see how the height, so a height of none, of course, just makes it square. A height of 1. If I want this part here to be the thin, the thick part, and this part to be the thin part, I can just click on that to change direction. If this happens to be a background, full background image, and I want it to overwrite all this, I can bring it to the front. The color that's set here is this color under here, the white. I can change that to any color that I want. Might make it red, for example, but I'll cancel that. So you can modify this as much as you want. The background itself, when I click on the top section and go to the background style, you'll see I have a linear gradient, or it took a linear gradient. On there, click on there, and you can see the gradient is linear. It's currently on a 211 degree angle. It's this color blue, and there's more light in it than there is dark in it. So I could change that if I wanted to make it go the other way. So if I want the gradient, grab that, sorry, and bring it over here. You see the gradient changing? See the color range changing in there? So I think that was 211, wasn't it? I'll just set that back to 211 because I like what it is. And if I want to change the color of the background, I just choose a different color. Again, I'm not going to change this because this is my theme color that I've chosen, so I want to keep it this color. You'll see that this little round thing here comes up as an icon. So that's attached to the top here. And again, there's a couple of training videos in the Thrive area which shows you how to do this, you know, kind of fancier stuff. The good part is with Thrive Apprentice and using this theme that I'm using, is that this actually comes part of the theme. So it's, you know, there's a bit of fancy functionality built in which looks really nice. But again, once I'm clicked into that one, I have various different changes to what happens here on the left, and also what I can do with this. So this might be, what does it come up as, an icon?
So it's probably in the main options there. So I can change the icon from a round one, or change the style to change its thickness and a few other things. Its size, 380 at the moment, so that's 380 filling that entire square. If I bring it down, it's going to kind of go egg-shaped. If it happens to be not this icon, say a tick box, a tick or something like that, I can say rotate it so it goes the other way. I can add a link to the icon if I want, so if people click on it, you know, they go to a particular page or whatever. What I might do with this is I might just make that fractionally darker. So this blue color that we've used for the theme, these other colors are various different gradients and opacities of that same color. So this is really handy to have automatically made. You can see that this is the color here at an opacity of 5. Okay, let's see what this one comes up here. See, it came up just a little bit darker with an opacity of about 12. I kind of like it when it's a little bit darker. It looks, I don't know, a bit more prominent. So we'll apply that. And that's all I'll do on the top section. If I wanted to modify the header while I'm in a page, I can click on the header or the footer, either one, and can edit it while I'm in the page. But it will take you across to the template editing section of Thrive's dashboard to do that. So you can either modify a header within your site, or modify the headers in Thrive itself by not even being in your site, and the changes will be affected across the board. So if I click on this now, you can see I can edit these things just here as if I'm live. I might go to the button. See the button here, I'll click on that. And here's the current button styling. The background style is in a white. You've got a normal and a hover. See, when I hover over it, it went blue. So if I go to hover up here, you'll see the background color there is blue. And you'll see also that your screen grays out so that you know that you're working in the hover part. I'll go back to normal. I see the background color is white. And I might actually make that button kind of rounded. I like sort of a rounded corner, so we'll try 60. Yeah, see 60, we get a little reminder to save. 60 makes the button go a little bit round. I kind of like that. We'll leave that as it is. We will leave the background as it is, and we won't change any of the text here yet because I don't know what I'm going to make that button go to yet. I might not even use that button on the site generally. So I click done, and it's saving, and it takes me back into the site again, so that if I do click on here again, it makes me want to edit that. So as I said, I can do that in the site, or I can do that in Thrive itself in the global templates editing section, which is available right across the board. So we'll save that work. And right now, we'll go and have a look at the course section. So this is a good spot for me to demonstrate the breadcrumb process of the design process. So if I go and click on any of these elements, you can see that they're highlighting as I scroll across them. I'll click on the drop down field here. We get across the top of the screen the breadcrumbs. So this area here is within the content area. It's also within a column. It's within, and so it's in this column by itself. So that's, you can see the column there. If I scroll over, it'll expand. It's in a larger column area, which involves both of these, which is this one up top. It's within the content area, which is this area, which has a rounded edge. Within the content wrapper, which is the entire, you can't quite see it there, but if I click on that, you'll see it, which wraps the entire content. And then all of that's inside a layout. Now, don't worry about getting too confused about this, because that's just the structure within the themes. All you need to know is you can go and modify all of those. We could change the background style of the entire layer here, for example, the entire content layer, and make it purple if we wanted to. But you see how it grabs the outside? Because our content area section, I'll go there, our content area had rounded corners. So what we actually put the color on is what's behind this. Okay, so I'll go to the layout container again. I'll go to background and I'll remove that. I'll just make it white. And then I'll come to the content area. Instead, go to the background and we'll make that purple. Bang. So you can have the background of your courses in purple. Or alternatively, you can start using your theme colors to find a nice blended background that sort of blends in with the top there. You can make it a grey if you want to. Again, a light blue, just moving across through the various different options. So I might leave it with just a nice light blue behind it for now. Okay, and for the course areas themselves, you can see how they're now blue. Maybe they need to be darker. Maybe I could darken those up, because now they're kind of blending in with the background. So why don't we do that? We'll click on that. We're in this is the drop down field that we're in. If we go there, it's going to make the whole column blue, so we don't want to do that. We just want to make the drop down field a bit of a different color. Click on the field. It might be in the main options. Oh. Oh, background style still whitish. Maybe go like that. I'll apply that. This is a different field, so we'll leave that as it is. No courses to display yet. But what I can do is I can go and set up how many courses are going to appear on the screen. So whenever you get to a point where you've got a course list, or a list of any description, a blog list, any article style list, or anything that's going to drag other elements of your website onto a page, excuse me, it will come up as a list. So if I click on the list, you see up here there's a whole range of list styles I can choose from. So I could take that, all these different list styles. You can play around with these and see what they look like. What are we in now? We're at course list 14, as you can see up here. So that's this style here. That's what it's going to look like when we start adding courses. It's going to have a little rounded area, and again, I like the rounded, so I'm going to just kind of leave that. I can come over here to course list options, and at the moment it's saying, as we saw on that little template section, there was 3, but I might only want to have 2 that show on the screen, so I can just say 2. I might want to have the horizontal distance different between them, so because I've now chosen 2, that's probably going to be quite wide. I'll just set that back to 3, just because I'll leave it as it is until I've got courses up. We can tell it how many items are at any point in time. We can change the pagination type, which says load more here. So when more courses have filled out the screen, once 6 courses are on the screen, it will only show 6. I might have 10 courses, but it will only show 6. And then when they click the load more, it will show more courses. If I want to edit the design of that 3-element design we had before. I'll wait until I've got courses in there, and when I click on that, I then have some other design features to manipulate those particular course layouts. So I might want to change the little rounded part at the bottom, or I might want to change the colors or the fonts that are actually on that listing item. So every single thing that's in Thrive you can manipulate in one way or another. You might have some limitations on certain things, or you might not. Bottom line is, you simply click into the element you want to work on and then see what comes up on the left hand side and what you can actually play around with. So there's that. What else do we can change layouts and positions of things. So at the moment there's a 20 pixel gap at the top and 20 at the bottom. If I want that to be down a little bit further, I might say 50. That'll push that down once the courses are on there. Can't see it just there. Background style, I won't play with that. I can put borders and corners around that area. Again, totally manipulative, whatever, from your own perspective. Also, with everything else that's on this page, we've been playing with what's currently on the page. We can add things to the page if we want to, as again we can with any other elements. That's done over here on the right hand side. If I click on that one, that's your central style panel. So if I decide I don't want this page to be blue, I want it to be green, then I can go into there, I can change the colors, and it will change the template on this template. Remember, we did all this in the theme area, so this will relate to each template. If I want to add something, I can add an element by clicking on the plus sign. You have a multitude of elements that you can add. Forms. If you have Thrive leads set up, you can set your lead process in there straight away. Countdown, styled boxes, numbered lists, search boxes, contact forms, videos you can drop in, tables of contents, styled lists, you name it. So what we might put on here, just for the sake of putting something on, is I might add another complete block to show you what happens when you add a block. So all of these are individual elements that might be in a block. What we can do here to maybe save some time if we're looking at design phases, we can click on the block and we can drag it down, and it will drag down to where we want it. We want to go below pagination, or do we want to go below go down here. I don't want to put another block below the pagination. I'll put one above the pagination. Okay, this is going to put it right in the middle of the course section. And maybe I might want to put a little call to action style box here. And this might be, let's say we're on our main course page, we're showing up the courses, and then we want to sort of prompt people to, I don't know, either join a newsletter list, or we want to prompt them that maybe we've got a particular workshop coming up that this course is related to, or this series of courses is related to, and we want to, highlight that fact. So I'll choose this one here. It will drop in, takes on the colouring of the theme straight away, and I'll just leave this as it is. New webinar coming, limited spots available, join now. Click here. If we click on here, we go up into our main options area, you'll see there's a place we can put a link to go to a page, or if we had a pop-up box that we'd created within our Thrive leads area, we could come down to animation and action and click on pop-ups. We'd get rid of this link here, which is the same as what was up the top, and we'd add a pop-up, and it would usually be a Thrive lead box. I don't think I've actually got anything set up on this. Oh yeah, I've got Google Analytics 4 guide, which wouldn't be appropriate for this one, but you would create these within the Thrive Leads area, and then once it was live, if a person clicks on that button, they get a pop-up box across the top of this. If not, as I said, I'll cancel that. If not, you can just come and put a link directly in here, have it open into a new page, or directly in this page, and you can make it a no-follow link if you happen to want to do that SEO thing. So I'll just save that, and we'll leave that as it is. And as you can see, we've changed our course homepage just slightly. If I want to change the footer and add things, same as what I did with the header, click on there, edit the footer, and away you go. So I'm not going to do that. I will just save that again. Always like to save the work, just in case. If you try to exit out of the page, it will just say you haven't saved your work. Please save. And we'll close this page off. Go back to our templates area, and then you basically do exactly the same thing to every one of your templates if you want to, or you just leave them as the default setup that they currently have, to lay them out the way you want. So if we look at, say, the default course overview page, so we had our courses page there, that's our main page, and then if I go and click on a course, then this is the template that will be used to show what this course is all about. So here we are, this is the course layout page. Nice title, you can have an image in here if you want to change it. You could make that a video, you can make it whatever you want. But if I wanted to make it a video, I can either drag a video inside of this content box and get rid of that, or I could just replace by grabbing a video over here, by going to elements and typing video up the top, grab the video component, and I could maybe drag it and put it on top of the content box. It would ask me what sort of video. Is it a YouTube one, Vimeo, Wistia, externally hosted and uploaded video that's sitting in the back of your WordPress, so on and so forth. Or I just, if it's YouTube, I just copy the link here and the video pops up. I could drag this element, clicking on this little square and the thing, I could drag that into the middle of this box after I got rid of the image that's currently in there, of course, and put it inside that container if I wanted to. As you can with all the elements, you can just drag them around anywhere you like. So if I didn't like the video there, I could drag it and I could put it down here maybe. But what I'll do in this particular case is I'll just delete that video, or delete that video element. I'll leave that as it is. Clicking on the content box, again you see up the top here where you have the breadcrumbs that lead you there. I can replace that image, or I could just remove it so that there's no image, depending on what the course is. As we see here on this text element, when I click on the text element, it tells me it's a heading 2 element, and that heading 2 font would be the font that we had, Mulish or whatever it was called, in our templates. There it is there. But I could change that if I want. It's grabbing the template font, but I might not want the template font for this. I might decide, you know what, I really don't like that particular font. I'm going to go with, say, I don't know, Open Sans or something like that. So we'll go with Open Sans. Of course I haven't got that highlighted. Oops. And there we go, we can change the font. So you can see that even though you've got template items set up, you can change them on any individual page. Remember, the template is the template. It's going to bring up whatever you've set as a default, and from there you can just manipulate it as you like. As you can see here, there's a video sitting in here, one of Thrive's. That's just default. It'll go away once we click on it because it's not actually there per se. It's just in the template. We've got buttons. We've got a lesson list. So again, when we click on the lesson list, we can go and edit the design of the list. So remember what I said before, you've got in any particular list, you've usually got something up here where you can change the style of how that list looks. We're looking at lesson 11 here, so that's sometimes not always in order. Here we go, that's lesson 11, so that's how they're going to look. Module title and the lessons will come out. We might say no, we actually want it to be a little bit more refined. We might want it to have big start buttons. We might want it to have big green headers, which again, we don't have to keep the green headers. We can change them once it's in there. But I'll just leave that as it is. That's the overall list design. But now I might want to go in and design these specific parts of the list itself. So I click on design, wait till it changes. We're in edit mode. Click on the header there. And it's saying inherit, so it's inheriting the blue color. But I might say no, I actually want it to be a specific color, and I want it to be purple. And they change across the board. So every new lesson coming in will have a purple header, a purple text title. Every single piece that's inside your list is editable. The down arrow look, the icon look there, the color of that, whether I want it to say chapter or is this lesson, you see you can change all of that. This is going to come from a content box. It's going to come from probably your author bio set up within WordPress. If not, you can change that just directly in here. So I don't have a bio set up in here, hence the reason there's nothing there, but I can change whatever I want in each of these boxes. So I can replace an image, have my face, a button either doing something or just as a highlighted, putting my own description. If I click on these social media icons over here, I can go into there, add a few more. Maybe I've got an Instagram, maybe I've got LinkedIn, can add those in, you see that. Maybe I don't like that style, so I can go and choose different styles. It's style number 5 at the moment. Maybe I like the rounded style. So I like that. I do like that style, it's just one of my favorites. So I'll apply that. Size and adjustment, they're currently at 9 point. I don't mind that sort of small 9 point within that. I want to make them, might want to make them bigger, so I'll go to say 12. Yeah, see, makes it too big. Kind of set up there. So I like 9. And the buttons with my courses, if I want this in this particular page, because this is my template, this will show across the board when I, what sort of icon have I got here? Change it to this style. I like the rounded style of button. So I'll apply that. And again, in this one, as you can see, it's got a bottom section. So if we go to the top, the very top breadcrumb here, it will take us to show this again. So this, on every page, on everything, you always come to this top breadcrumb to get to this level. And you can see here that this one has the bottom section highlighted in green. If I didn't want that, again, I can just take that off. In this case, I'll actually put it back on because it's part of the section. I can then go and modify what that bottom section is going to look like. So I might have an image in the back, for example. Might go at a background style. I will put an image in there. I'll just choose anything from my site. Oh, we'll put some coins. See how it says cover. I can put it at the top. In the middle, I can make it contain. Obviously, the section width is only very thin at the moment, so I can make it contain to do the same thing as what we did on the header, on the top section. I'll go to cover, and I'll say apply, and then I'll come back to the bottom section, and I'll say the height. I'm going to make the height this height, and now I've added a bottom section. I mean, that looks pretty horrible on this course, but understand that you could have that as a background. You could maybe add an overlay on it, so you put another solid color over the top, and maybe we might put that as, yeah, I'll leave it as 50% opacity, or you can go 20% opacity, or you might want to make it, it's just chosen black. You can have any color. We'll go for purple. We'll try our purple. I'd have to unlink it. I can unlink it. So that allows me to then put a different opacity on here. I might say, we'll go 50. Makes it a purple look. And so you've got all those options of changing the look and feel of any element that you have. I'll apply that. I'm probably going to get rid of this bottom section. We can have gradients on here. We can have patterns on here, and we can even have some background effects. As again, opacity we can change. The brightness, contrast, blur, sepia, we can make it go sepia look. I don't think I'll really change that. I think the color won't work, but we can, so it makes it go orange or brown, which is typically sepia. And all of these will overlay on top of each other. And if I wanted to move them around so that the solid color wasn't on the top, I can just move where it's the mouse moves, and I can pull that down and change it. And of course, the color is going to go away in this case because the picture's over the top of the color. In this case, the color's over the top of the picture. And I'll leave that at that for this page, because you've essentially got the idea by now. You can essentially just go through and either add extra things that you want onto your course pages, or change the existing pages as they are templates, and then when you go and actually add a course to your modules and to your membership site, you can go into the individual courses if you want and change it again, because you might not like the template elements that you've set up for that particular course. Maybe you want to change the blue to a deeper one so that course looks different to another course on your page. And all we have to ever do is just save the work. So I think I'll leave that design video at this point in time, because all the rest of it's pretty much exactly the same. And from here on in, what we'll be going into with this course is to start actually creating our first course. So that will be the next video, and I look forward to seeing you in there. Hey, and don't forget to click the like button, hit the subscribe button, and press that bell notification too, so you can tell YouTube that you want to see more of this sort of video. Thanks.